Islam. Back on our suggested reading list again. This is a book which the words have been, this book has been read to death, so the words are no longer there. But this is the book entitled The Moors in Spain, and it's by Stanley Lane-Poole. Okay? I'd like to draw from page 139 in there, just to show the grandeur of your Moorish forefathers, so that way we can begin to adopt the mentality that our forefathers had, that, in that which was uplifting. All right? It says, even more wonderful, though not more beautiful, was the city and palace of Az-Zahra, which Abdul Rahman III built as a suburb to Cordova. One of his wives, whose name was Az-Zahra, meaning the fairest, to whom he was devotedly attached, once begged him to build her a city which should be called after her name. And if I could just pause there, like, just to think about, sometimes brothers get a little stressed because their wives may, let them know that, well, I want a new house, I want a new car, Think about the pressure of your wife coming to you saying that, I want you to build me a city. So just think about who your forefathers were. It says, the great caliph, like most Mohammedan sovereigns, delighted in building, and he adopted the suggestion. He at once began to found a city at the foot of the mountain called the Hill of the Bride, over against Cordova and a few miles distant. Every year he spent a third of his revenues upon the building. And it went on to all 25 years remaining of his reign, and 15 years of the reign of his son, who made many additions to it. 10,000 workmen labored daily at the task, and 6,000 blocks of stone were cut and polished every day for the construction of the houses of the new city. Some 3,000 beasts of burden were daily used to carry the materials to the spot, and 4,000 columns were set up, many of which were presents from the emperor of Constantinople, or came from Rome, Carthage, Sfax, and other places, besides the home marbles quarried at Tarragona and Almeria. Yes, the Romans were, sending tribute to help with the building of the Moors. So that's something interesting to note. There were 15,000 doors coated with iron or polished brass. The hall of the caliphs at the new city had a roof and walls made of marble and gold, and in it was a wonderful sculptured fountain, a present from the Greek emperor, who also sent the caliph a unique pearl. In the midst of the hall was a basin of quicksilver. At either side were 8 doors set in ivory and ebony, and adorned with precious stones. When the sun shone through these doors, the quicksilver lake was set quivering. The whole room was filled with flashes like lightning, and the courtiers would cover their dazzled eyes. The Arabian authors delight in telling of the wonders of this city of the fairest, Medina Az-Zahra, as it was called after the caliph's mistress. We might go to great length were we only to enumerate all the beauties, natural as well as artificial, contained within the precincts of Az-Zahra. Writes one, quote, the running streams, limpid waters, luxuriant gardens, the stately buildings for the household guards, the magnificent palaces for the high functionaries of the state, the throngs of soldiers, pages, and slaves of all nations and religions. I'm going to say that again, of all nations and religions, sumptuously attired in robes of silk and brocade, moving to and fro through its broad streets, or the crowds of judges, theologians, and poets walking with becoming gravity, through the magnificent halls and ample courts of the palace. The number of male servants in the palace had been estimated at 13,750, to whom the daily allowance of flesh meat, exclusive of fowls and fish, were 13,000 pounds. The number of women of various kinds of classes, comprising the harem of the caliph, or waiting upon them, is said to have amounted to 6,314. The Slav pages and eunuchs, these were the Europeans, the original slaves. The Slav pages and eunuchs were 3,350, to whom 13,000 pounds of flesh meat were distributed daily, some receiving 10 pounds each and some less, according to their rank and station, exclusive of fowls, partridges, and birds of other sorts, games, and fish. The daily allowance of bread for the fish in the pond of Az-Zahra was 12,000 loaves, besides 6 measures of black pulse, which were every day macerated in the waters. These and other particulars may be found at full length in the histories of the times, and recorded by the orators and the poets who have exhausted the minds of eloquence in their description. All who saw it owned owned that nothing similar to it could be found in the territories of Islam. Travelers from distant lands, men of all ranks and professions in life following the various religions, princes, ambassadors, merchants, pilgrims, theologians, and poets, all agreed that they had never seen in the course of their travels anything that could be compared to it. So again, you have to read the ancient chronicles where people, were describing in real life, in real time, what they were seeing that your forefathers built, because without knowing what was done, you can't know what you can do. And like the Egyptian proverb says, woe to the student that does not surpass his master, right? So we can't just do what our forefathers did. We have to surpass what they did, all right, in order for us to be honored by history, all right? And once again, that was Moors in Spain by Stanley Lane-Poole. Every Moorish American should have it in his library. And with that, I say peace.